Today, honey, what are we talking about?
Well, today we have a great topic. We are going to be talking about the value of authentic friendship.
Friendship.
Mm-hmm.
What does friendship have to do with your legacy? You guys are the legacy builders. Legacy is something that you build on your own. I don't need anybody. Why do I need friends? What's important about friendship?
Friendship is very important.
Hmm.
Absolutely important. And that's what we're going to be discussing on today.
Right. But seriously, guys, we want to touch on this topic because we've had people contact us and ask us about telling us to discuss the topic of friendship and how to let go of of old friends, how to get new friends, and how to know if you have healthy friendships. So really, that's why we want to touch on this topic.
Yes.
And we'd love to hear from you too if you have any topic that you want us to talk about. Yeah, so let's dive into it, baby. Let's talk about friendship. And number one, how does it affect your legacy?
How does it affect your legacy? Oh, my. Well, first, we want to start by saying that it could affect your legacy because if you have an authentic friendship, it can create a healthy environment for you.
Right.
And now when I say healthy environment, I'm talking about where there's no envy, there's no jealousy, or competition.
Wow.
And this is very, very common in toxic relationships. That's how you know if your relationship is toxic or not. Because there's going to be some type of envy. There's going to be some type of jealousy or competition. It's always going to be the other one's trying to do better than you or trying to compare.
Hold on, baby. Hold on.
Oh, okay,
Save some of that. Save some of that. Just touch on it. You just touching on it. Save it.
Okay.
Save it. So that environment is, I agree with you, having that healthy environment.
Yes.
Also, we know that you're the average of your 5 closest friends. So if you're not around people that are trying to get better, people who are focused on legacy, on family, on faith, then that's going to affect you.
Yes.
So you are the average of the 5 people that you're closest to. So that's why it's important who you choose your friends, who they are, and who you associate with.
Absolutely.
That's another reason it affects your legacy.
And also, too, in the good book, it says evil communication corrupt good morals. So that says a lot,
right?
About the types of friendships that you keep.
Right. Because if you're not in that positive environment, I always say this, that the lamb will take on the ways of the lion.
That is the
absolute truth. A lamb is not going to get into a group and change the group of lions.
No.
They're going to take on the habits, the mindset of the lion. So
exactly.
You have to surround yourself with like-minded people.
Right.
And finally, briefly, the last thing is they'll support your growth. That's why it's important to your legacy.
Right.
Your friends will support your growth.
Absolutely. That's a big one.
And we know also that generally, guys, we know that you can't achieve anything great in life if you don't help others. That's number one. So you have to help others. You can get what you want by helping others out.
Right.
And that's where the friendship comes in. So you have to be that friend that you want others to be to you. You have to be that friend to others, to other people.
Exactly.
And so that's what we want to touch on briefly. So that's it, guys. That's how it affects your legacy. Now let's really get into the meat of the podcast of this topic and talk about friendship. And we want to touch on how does the world define friendship? Especially in the time of social media. It's a different definition from when you were coming up.
It is totally different.
Right. Because we're 80s and 90s babies. So we didn't come up with the internet and all these things. So we had, I would say, true friendship back then. Because we had to interact with each other.
Right.
And
look at it like that.
We built that connection. And that, I think that's kind of missing today.
Right. And we had no choice. I mean, we had to call each other. We had to hear each other's voice. It wasn't no shooting a text message or DMing people on social media. We had to literally call our friends. And if we couldn't contact them on the phone, we would walk to our friend's house. Exactly. I mean, the things we used to do back then, it's just so much different today. So we literally, like you said, we had to work for those friendships.
Exactly.
It wasn't like, it is today. Just totally different.
And that's how you built that bond. And let's just start on it. Really, that word friend, it's a loose term today, because now
Yes, it is.
a friendship, they use that word love loosely, and a like is now considered a friend. If someone likes the post that you put up, that now they're considered
Social
your
media
friend.
like,
Right.
yes, thumbing up your posts.
Right. With Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all those things. So
Those little love likes.
right. Yes. So that's kind of how the word friendship has been transformed in the age of social media.
Yes.
Also, how the world defines friendship is that you have a history together. You know of each other, like we were talking about. You came up together. So that's kind of how you define that friendship. And in a way that's partly true, but just because you came up with someone, and we're going to talk about it earlier, that doesn't mean that they're your true friend. You may know of each other, or you might have had a few experiences together, but that doesn't make them an authentic friend.
Exactly. Because what we're learning now in our older age, looking back, is that just because you came up with that friend and you've had so much in common, well, actually, that is what I was getting to. The fact that you came up with that particular friend based on what you had in common. A lot of those friendships was based on that. Like if you really look back and you look at your friendships, always look at, what y'all had in common. I'm sure if you look at it that way, you'll be able to see that that's the reason why you built that friendship, because you guys had so much in common. And I know, like, a lot of friendships from my past, when I look back, a lot of us, we were fatherless. Now, I had a stepdad later on who came into my life. But before that, we didn't, a lot of us, we didn't have our fathers. And even though I had my stepdad, which, I'm grateful for, it was nothing like having my actual father there, my natural father there for me. So we all had missing fathers.
Right.
Single mothers.
Right.
Really, we were connected because of those things.
Right.
So again, a lot of times your connections is based on what you have in common at that time. But as you continue to grow, as you get older, which not everybody gets to that point. But if you do get to that point and you want to grow, are you starting to grow? And if that other person is not, you'll be able to see that you guys was only connected because of what you had in common.
I agree. And I'm sure you guys, if you actually look back and think on your childhood friendships, I bet you had a lot in common that you didn't even realize at the time. You guys just thought that you were friends and you were in the same neighborhood together. But notice why a lot of you were friends with these guys and why you remained so close. Myself, I can think of my friends that I had when I was coming up. A lot of us were fatherless.
Whoa.
Single mothers, same like
Similar,
what you said. Yep, same mindset, had the same views. And we bonded on brokenness.
Right. Oh, wow.
We bonded on brokenness.
Same thing here.
Yes.
Wow.
And
My.
as you'll see, as we discuss more into the topic, that's why the friendship really didn't last. When growth starts to take place, they start to feel some kind of way.
Speak the truth.
Yes. So yeah, guys, that's kind of how the world defines friendship. And just because you have a history together, that doesn't mean anything. We know that a lot of times your friends who you came up with, they don't have the best interest in you. You want to talk about that story you heard on social media?
Actually, yes. I want to talk about something that I've seen on social media. That was a young lady. She had a son, and she lost her son to gun violence. And I seen a picture of her son, and she had the picture of her son in one of a guy that was his close friend, and he had his arm around him. And I seen the mother put something about, never trust a friend just because they have their arm around you.
Right.
And she went on to say that that particular friend was the reason her son lost his life to gun violence.
Wow.
And when I seen that, I was just so saddened by that, because again, sometimes that's what happened. We connect based on our brokenness. And I can promise you that these guys, these young men, they never had a father in their lives. Because usually when you see that gun violence and it's something that, that's the friends that you're connected to, is really because they didn't have their father to guide them in their lives, to show them some type of discipline and to show them that is not the right way.
Exactly.
So that was a sad thing to see. And I also want to mention something as well when it comes to what you're saying about friendships. I've also had a friend in my life, and as we got older, I started growing in my, I just started growing. I was doing things different. I was more of a family homebody type. I didn't want to go out anymore. I just wanted to, just take care of my business at home and focus on family life. And I remember me and that particular friend, we had some kind of, we wasn't talking as much anymore. And I lost my dad, and she wasn't there for me when I lost my dad.
Right.
And I was hurting behind that because we came up together. We was one of those friends that was drawn together because of our brokenness. We didn't have our dads in our lives. And we both dealt with watching domestic violence in the home. So, as I got older, I reached out to her and asked her to come over so we could have talk. But in my heart, I wanted to talk to her about it so we could have reasoned together, which is what friendship is really supposed to be about.
Exactly.
And when I talked to her, she told me that she was going to come over, and still today I never seen her.
Wow.
She never came, and that's when I knew what type of friendship we had. That's when reality set in, that just because you grow up with a person does not mean that is your true friend. Because friends will stand the test of time. They'll be there when you need them. And you'll be there when they need you.
That is so true. And that's a great segue into how do you define authentic friendship?